Hey friends, and welcome back to Stronger Every Day. My name is Chrissy. Apparently Robert wanted to say hello too if you heard that crow in the background just as soon as I started talking. We are here today. We're going to talk about when disappointments come, right? So everyone experiences disappointments, whether it's a loss of someone we love, whether it's a loss of a job, you're in a wreck, you were in a tragedy, you were robbed, your bank account was hacked. All of us experience disappointments. Maybe we didn't make the grade we wanted on our test or whatever that might look like. We all have had disappointments. I'm really not sure what my hair is doing either in this video. All of us have experienced that. It's how we handle it. It's harder when you are struggling with depression and anxiety to rebound from those. I'm going to give you an example that just happened to us. So Maggie, and I'll insert a photo here, was one of our goats, and we got her about a year ago with two others, with Blackie and Mocha, which is mom and daughter. And we thought she was around 7, but she actually was 9.5. When just recent, she was 9.5. And so Maggie was the sweetest, kindest, most gentle, fun-loving little goat I've ever seen. She was a Nubian, and she would come up to you like a dog and just love on you and greet you when you came out. She was a very nurturing, loving, just a very nurturing, loving goat. And she always made me smile. She always made me grin. Just her gentle nature about her. And we had noticed over the past probably month or 6 weeks that she was getting smaller. She was losing some weight. And so we started treating her with different things. Did a dewormer, did some vitamin B, just different things that we knew to do. We started getting some of her favorite treats to try to put some weight back on her. They had all lost a little bit of weight coming out of the winter, and just different things, and it wasn't working. And so we took her to the vet. We called the vet. They recommended some stuff. We went and got it, gave it to her. That was like on a Friday, and they said, watch her over the weekend. And we took her in Tuesday morning. They treated her again with some antibiotic and just a bunch of stuff just to kind of throw it all at her. And she went down from there. And so she was unable to stand anymore. Nick would pick her up and carry her to the yard and let her son in the yard, and she would eat grass. She was still eating and drinking. She would eat the grass around her, and he would go pick her favorite weeds. And she had, of course, feed and treats. And our hope was that she was going to rebound, and she didn't. And we lost Maggie. And it was a week, so we called the vet on a Friday, took her on a Tuesday, and we let her go on Friday. And it sucked, and that's the only word that I can use for it. And what's harder, I think, as a dog, cat, goat, chicken mom, is that you're not given time to grieve. It's just an animal mentality for most people. And when someone I know loses someone, whether it's a kid or their spouse or their mother, their father, their brother, their sister, their best friend, I've never looked at them and thought, well, you should stop grieving. Like it's just an uncle, or it's just an aunt, or it's just a spouse, or just your mom. Like I've never had that mentality. But when you lose an animal, it is very, oh well. And while I don't agree with that, I can semi-see some people's opinions of it, because Nick and I aren't blessed with two-legged kids. I can't have children. And so these are babies. And I know that some people don't have that same mentality, but it hurts. It hurts when we have disappointments. It hurts that I prayed for God to heal Maggie. And if not, then to let her go. peacefully. And that is what happened. But it was the second part of the prayer that happened. But so when we have disappointments in our life, that can very quickly trigger us to get back into a dark place. And things are going to happen in our lives. Bad things, good things, mediocre things, excellent things are going to happen in our lives. It's how we react to them. When we have disappointments, it's okay to feel upset. Jesus flipped a table over. I don't think he was enthused at that moment, right? It's okay to have emotions. It's okay to feel things. It's in the way we react to them. And so Chrissy pre 2 years ago would have thrown me into the depths of depression right there. It would have, because all of the regular day-to-day stuff, and then that would have been kind of the icing on the cake, right? And what I said was, I automatically looked up into the sky. I knew the second Maggie went, I had my hand on her heart, and I looked up into the sky and I saw her running, and she's happy and healthy again. So I went with that thought instead of, I'm never going to get to see her. This isn't fair. You know, I'm not saying that she was my favorite goat, but she probably was. She's just different than the others, and they're fun loving too. I mean, they're just different. But same thing for you. So if you lose a job and you're like, well, wait a minute, I've got bills, I've got kids, I've got a spouse, I've got rent, I've got a mortgage, whatever. You can be mad about that, and that's okay to feel that feeling of anger and be mad and even have a little bit of resent that, you know, I poured in 2 years, 10 years, 20 years, 40 years into this business, and you just let me go. It's how we react to it. And what we want to do now is we want to take to social media, or we want to tell all of our friends or all the other employees that work there just how bad that place was the whole time, and somehow that helps vindicate what's happened to us. What I've learned is it's happened. How am I going to react to it? How am I going to be the best version that God wants me to be in my reaction to it? And that's hard, because Chrissy by nature, when something bad happens, wants to vindicate. You know, I want to handle the situation and deal with it. If I hear someone talking about somebody I love, it's extremely difficult for me not to go back to my roots, I'll say, and handle the situation with probably not good things. Now, if I hear somebody actively speaking ill of somebody that I care about, we're going to have a conversation. That's not going to fly with me. If you're going to talk about them, then you need to talk about them somewhere else. You're not going to be in the same room as I am and talk about somebody I care about. But it's learning that when disappointments happen, when things happen, how are you going to react to it? How are you going to react? Are you going to start, here we go again, I knew it. I knew as soon as I got to feeling a little bit better, then bam, something was going to happen. I knew this was going to happen. Here we go again. Friends, the devil's got you right there. That's all he needed to hear, was that you're ready for him to be back in control of your mind and your actions. And he's just tickled pink. And I'm sick and tired of the devil being happy. I think he's a miserable person, and I think he's miserable, but I also think it gives him just a smidge of happiness, not joy, just a smidge of happiness when he sees one of us fall into his trap. And I did that for a long time, and I'm done. I'm living for God. I am living for God. Do I make mistakes? Yes. But when disappointments come, what I've learned is I'm going to stop. I'm going to pray. I'm going to know that God's in control, even when I don't get the answer I wanted. And I didn't get the answer I wanted. I wanted Maggie to get healthy again and stay with us. You know, sometimes they can live 12 to 15 years, and I wanted her to be with us. I didn't want to lose her. We had plans of expanding not the acreage, we worked with what we had, but expanding different yards for them. And, you know, then this happened. My situation in this particular instance is Maggie, our goat, but yours is probably not a goat. It's probably something different, but it's me understanding that life's going to happen. Things are going to happen, and it's how I'm going to react to it. I've said this multiple times. We were never promised rainbows and sunshine. We were told there will be trials and tribulations, but God has overcome the world, right? I don't understand why there's cancer. I don't understand why there's death. I don't understand why there's not at an appointed time that we all get to hang out and love on each other, but then there's a time that God says, okay, I'm taking this whole group and you're coming to heaven with me if you're saved. I don't understand why it's like the way it is, and I won't know until I get to heaven. What I do know is it matters how I react and act to things here on this earth. I have started for a while now, probably a year, when there's a person that's angry, I try to see the person, I try to see past them. So they're not angry at me, they're angry at the situation, they're angry at whatever's going on. So I try to see behind the anger, and that's hard, because what I want to do is bold up and defend myself and whatever's going on. But what does that do? You know, arrogance against arrogance isn't gonna fix anything. But if there can be understanding and letting that person know, you're not alone, I'm not writing you off, I'm gonna do everything I can to help you. We've gotten away from that. And that's my goal of what I want to do, is be God's hands and feet in every situation. And it's hard because sometimes I'm crying out that this is hurting God. You know, they're saying things that are really digging deep. They're hitting some deep personal things, and it's hurting. And but I'm trying to be your hands and feet. You know, Jesus walked through a lot of things that weren't comfortable, and then he died for us. That wasn't comfortable. And so I try to remember that. It's hard in the moment though, right? It's hard in the moment. Our pastor was talking about, it's been a minute ago, he was talking about, you know, it's not all perfect for me because I'm the pastor of the church. You know, things happen, bad things happen. I have to react quickly in certain situations, and I have to, you know, we have a decent sized church, and so, you know, everybody brings everything to him. And so it's having to, you know, you're losing people to death. You know, situations are happening. You know, your church, the place I worked for, the main reason they started this company was loving others. It was seeing a need, and it was knowing that there was a different way to do it that was more people oriented, more loving, more caring towards the patient. And the three have since retired, but that's the heart of the company, and that heart is still there. Does that mean every single person that works there has that heart? No. I will say this. I don't know of anyone that I can think of that I don't feel that way about, that has that love for people in their heart. You don't find places like that anymore, especially as a whole. But that doesn't mean that it's going to be that way in every situation, right? It doesn't, you know, I think if somebody betrays us or somebody does something to us, somebody disappoints us, then everybody's like that, you know. But that's not the case. It's not true. We're not promised rainbows and sunshine. God has told us there will be trials and tribulations, but God. I hope that this video helps, understanding that when you have disappointments, it's perfectly okay to feel what you're feeling. It's the way you're reacting to it. You want to be as Christ-like as possible. Are you going to fail sometimes? Yeah, you are. You're going to fail. I do, you do, everyone does. You're going to fail sometimes, but the more you try and the more you pursue to be as Christ-like as possible, the easier it's going to get, the better you're going to get at it. But you're never going to be perfect. I'm never going to be perfect this side of heaven. So I hope this video helps, friends. It's my heart and hope that you feel this last part of the video. Every single video I end this way. God loves you. I love you. Your family loves you. Your friends love you. And we need you here.